Man, before we get up into this video, like, comment, subscribe. And you already know we about to do a whole 10-minute segment. You know, I appreciate everybody that goes and watch my videos because they snapping, they going crazy right now. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know, it's another nighttime. It's about 10:05. Anyway, so it's still a vlog, but I'm gonna do like a little story time within this vlog. Hopefully it take a whole 10 minutes up so y'all can understand where I'm coming from. I mean, I got so many stories in this life. I don't know which one, but you know what? I think I'm gonna start with let me see. I think I'm gonna start with the first time. Now, I did the first time I got high, did the first time having sex. Let me see. I guess I could start with the first time. The first time. Aha, I got it. I could start with the first time, you know, I worked. My very first experience in working field, right? So, I think I'm about 20. I had my very first job at 20. Like under the table paid job, I was about like 17, 18. With that, I'm gonna start with that, and then I'm gonna flip and reverse to my first actual government job. So like getting paid up under the table, right? So I was working for this guy who works for Menards, and basically he'll come and grab me. He'll pay me $9 an hour and stuff. I was a weekly paid job, you know, $9 an hour. Hey, let me grab that. But we had to be up early in the morning. We're in a box truck, Menards box truck, 2 men, 1 truck, no diddy on baby. So while we in the truck, you feel me? We in the truck. We already got all the appliances inside the truck. So then we go pull up to people's houses. One time we went to Michael Jordan's house, actually in Chicago, the big 23 black gate. I remember this stuff, but I wasn't real big on it. But hey, it's a story, you feel me? So that's what we did. We ain't really had no major issues and stuff. I mean, it was basically carrying heavy patios and stuff like that, like stuff I remember to this day, and bring it to people's houses, set it where they need to be set. We brought couches upstairs, refrigerators inside the house. That was actually some crazy stuff, bringing a refrigerator inside somebody's house. Boy, you would think like, dang, what is that? Man, it was something. So fast forward, I had my very first job at 20. I remember this stuff. So I went in for the interview. It was KFC. I'll talk about this highly a lot because, you know, later in the job, I became a manager within 2 months. But first, you know, I don't have no experience in working at all. Like, I don't know what I'm really getting myself into, for real, you feel me? So I said, all right, this is what I'm about to do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up in here. Every interview, I'll be nervous and stuff. I don't really know how to answer them correctly because I never had no job experience. Let's be real, you feel me? Like, somebody gonna give me a chance. So it was this old lady. Her name was Rebecca. I remember that. You know, sat down. So what's your goals in life? Or, you know, what do you see yourself doing here in this job? All right. Truthfully, you know, I'm bringing opportunities to help y'all grow as a business. You know, me thinking this is the right answer, you know. I guess it was because I did get hired, right? So okay, so when do you think you can start? I could start today, if it's possible. She was like, well, you just come back tomorrow, you know, we'll have all your pants, your shirts, and your shoes and all that stuff. I said, okay, cool. Then she informed me that that was her last week being there. So she hired me and then she left. I said, dang, okay. So now I go up in there, work with her for a week. It was cool. She was straight. She was a cool GM. I ain't gonna lie to you. Then once she left, we had another GM come in. Now, this is my first job ever. So me thinking like, all right, whatever. And then this one little female, I remember she helped me get the job. She was working there. She was like one of the managers. So as soon as the guy come in, everybody ended up quitting. I mean, boy, nobody liked him for nothing. Straight quit on him, quick as hell. So I was like, man, truthfully, you know, somebody helped me get the job, and I should have been more smarter about it, but I wasn't. I was following someone because they helped me get in there. You helped me get in there to make me leave. Wow. And it was on me. I can't blame nobody but myself, because I should have just, of course, knew that. But it is what it is. So 2-3 days go by, you know, he give me a call. Hey, this Nick was a GM. I just seen, you know, that this your first job and stuff. Why'd you quit? And I told him exactly what I just told y'all. He was like, hey man, come on back. Come back, cause I see straight potential in you. I said, what? Okay. Appreciate you. So I go back, and you know, we chop it up, we talk, and I pretty much let him know, like, he said, man, don't do that no more. That's stupid. Don't leave because they left. We're like, what? So I said, nah, you right, for real. So I'm working. They had me do cookies, KFC, like I said. So cookies, I was a cook. I learned the line, I learned the window, I learned everything up in there. Then I learned how to do the computer work. I did everything up in there. Boy, I was a monster. Within 2 months, he made me a manager, right? Now, this is how funny this story get. After the 2 months happened, you know what I did? Boy, I ended up quitting. So at the time, I was staying with my mom. I was 20. You know, we moved to Iowa, Cedar Rapids, to be, you know, keep it real with you. So when we was there, me and her, we got into it over some dumb stuff. So I was about to move back to Chicago. I just bought this. I ain't even bought a van for real. Like, I still owe some money on it. But I went there, about to go back to Chicago. I had the owners of KFC call me and was like, hey, we want you to come back. I said, what? I said, all right, now, you know, you only get one mom, you get one dad. So, you know, I chopped up my mom. We made amends, whatever. We pushed it, kept going straight forward with it. So then I went back to work. I worked there for another, 8 months. Now, the reason why I quit was because the GM there, they moved him to another location. They told me I could be the assistant or the GM there. But then they hired this black dude, which, no racist, none of that stuff. They hired this dude, he come in, and then he become the GM. They hired somebody else to be a assistant, and I'm stuck like, dang. So then now they dictating over either am I going to work morning or night. I told them I don't want to work nights, let me get the morning time. That was my crew. I had straight none but raw people as my crew in the morning. So they was like, nah, forget that. I said, what? So once I realized they put me on a schedule for only doing straight nights, I turned my badge in like I was a cop. Clothes, keys, boom, boom, just setting everything on the counter. And then they said, where you going? I said, I'm leaving. They, what? So then I left there. I called up a temp place. I worked at a temp agency for like a month and a half or whatever. Then I left there. Some lady on the phone was trying to get, smart and loud with me. Like, man, what? I don't need this. And then, well, I'm going to tell y'all my next story of how I got to the trucking. But after the temp agency, that's pretty much what happened. But yeah, that's my whole story about working at KFC. Now there's some in between stuff where like we was silly, we was goofing off and stuff and whatever, but you know, that's how my life journey started with working. So KFC for the win, I ain't gonna lie to you. But if you like this video, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and you already know who it is also, and share with all your peoples. Hey, and I appreciate each and last one of y'all for going ahead and, you know, watching these videos. You know, it means a lot to me, so thank you. All right, and we up out of here. Peace.